So give some folks some time.
Yeah, a little time. Hi, everyone. I'm sure 3 people who have entered the chat at the moment.
And Sam is not Alex,
If
but
like,
he is Sam.
I am Sam. I'm Sam. I'm the executive producer at Lincoln Square, and I've got some big shoes to fill. Alex Shashlow is out today, so I'm coming in to pepper Joe Trippi with your questions.
Yeah, no, he's been on the road this week, and you've been having a hard time corralling the two of us to not be on the road at the same time to be able to do this. So thanks, Sam, for filling in.
Yeah, I am. I'm excited to be here. We got a ton of questions. I'm just going to check out see if we're on and people are in. Looks like it. So Joe, before we start these questions, I just want to get a sense of what's the story of this week. I mean, it's so fucking much that's happened all week. The memorial that turned into a Nazi rally. James Comey. It's just one thing after another. What's your
And Kimmel, I think, happened. Was that this week or
that was? He was reinstated this week.
This week. Yeah. So I do think it's sort of the Kimmel Comey combined story of Trump sort of creating these, going after enemies, but in a strange way, creating a bigger story that I think is hurting. I mean, showing weakness, et cetera. So I think Comey's a really fascinating one. I know we have some questions about that one.
Yeah, let's start there. This is from Dally, which is a cool name, by the way. I can't believe I'm rooting for James Comey after everything. I'm with you there. His statement was something I don't know any one of us would have hoped to have written. But there doesn't seem to be anything there is in this indictment. Am I wrong, Joe?
No, I mean, what's fascinating, look, to go after Comey, who he should be a fanboy of since Comey's, releasing of, basically going after Hillary, releasing the stuff on Hillary, that whole thing, which obviously had a major impact at the end of that race, and has to be part of the credit for how Trump won the first time, which again goes down to Dolly's, well, I can't believe I'm rooting for this guy after he did that. But yeah, so here's a guy that Trump should be, a fanboy of, actually, who has been critical of Trump, and therefore, guess what, folks? Trump's going after him, just basically going deeper and deeper into killing the independence of the DOJ, which is now just a private legal firm to go after to do lawfare. I mean, what he was accusing the Biden administration of doing, he's now doing absolutely out in the open. So no, you're not wrong. All of us should be, I think, in the end, standing for the rule of law, standing against what the DOJ has become. Means standing with Comey, but that's also why the Kimmel, going after Kimmel, going after Comey. I think the pattern here is what's going to hurt Trump with independent voters, and frankly, I think some Republican voters who still do believe in the rule of law and that think it's wrong for the president to be going after his enemies.
Yeah, I can't help but think of, I should have loaded it, but there was a video of an ICE agent in the courthouse hallway throwing down a woman who was sobbing as her husband was taken away. And, Maya May on our new show, Protect and Serve, last night with Michael Fanone said, this woman is someone who doesn't know if she'll ever see her husband again. And she's weeping. And so I feel like there's a connection here between, and bear with me, between Comey, Kimmel, and that poor woman who was thrown down. We're all suspects now. Everyone is.
Yeah. No, that's right. And without cause. I mean, look, the prosecutor, I mean, the DOJ, who prosecutors put in charge of this, was canned because he didn't think there was a case.
A Trumpy, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, it was canned. Yeah, Trump appointee was canned because he didn't think there was a case. Then Trump says, Comey, why is not anything happening? He, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, the prosecutor's fired. They bring in someone who's never been a prosecutor in entire life. She's now got like 6 days of experience as a prosecutor, and on day 5 of it, indicts Comey. So, this is, everybody's a suspect, and there is no due process. There's no proof. Look at what with the Fed, what they're doing there. Going after a Fed guy, it's on again, mortgage, supposedly 2 accusations of mortgage fraud when nothing's been proven. There's no facts that back it up. In fact, there's countervailing facts where one of the mortgages was clearly a vacation home, not a principal.
Right.
Listed. I mean, all of this stuff at Kimmel, Comey now, that woman, again, from the very beginning, they've been picking up people on the street with no due process and shipping them to foreign gulags.
Yeah.
Even though the court said, no, you can't, stop doing that. I mean, but I think the force of all of that, Sam, is waking up more and more. I mean, look, 90% of Democrats were there from day one,
Right.
maybe 95, but now you have 65% of independents, where Trump only has a 27% approval rating, not in the 30s, not in the 40s. We're talking with independents way down. I think all of it's starting to add up, and the more desperate he gets to distract, to feed his base and distract any focus on Epstein or anything else, the worse it gets for him.
I agree, and I think the worse it's going to get for us. He's like a caged animal at this point, and it does feel like that gap. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's why I think, look, the erosion in his support started right after the Epstein scandal really blew up. I mean, the cover-up blew up. And he started to erode with independents and some Republicans, and that really started to take his favorables and approval ratings down. And what happened immediately after, I was sort of astonished at how fast sort of what I would call a collapse among independents was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And it was mid that collapse that he picked up the phone and called Texas and said, I need 5 more districts. It was amid that collapse where he really started to call up the National Guard and put them deeper and deeper into more American cities, and the ICE thing started to really explode again in terms of going after people. And I think all that is preparation to have ICE agents outside polling booths in 2026 to say we're only here looking for illegals, but basically scaring people from going to the polls.
Yep.
And so no, I think you're right. What's happened as this collapse of support is going on, and the more Americans become visible in their protests and in their saying no more, the more desperate he's getting, and the faster his speed up of the grab for authoritarianism, things maybe they weren't planning on doing until next year or even after 2026, after they won the House, they're doing now, and it's all out. We're now in a race, I think. He's in a race to grab power before the American people say,
I agree, and I think the immigrants and brown people who happen to be citizens are not getting due process, and I think we're seeing that due process erode at the top now, and so they'll meet in the middle. And I think like you said, Democrats, we've been there the whole time. We were like, oh, we get it, we understand what's happening.
I'll tell you something that somebody else we may end up having to root for by the end of the week is John Bolton. I mean, they're now clearly saying that he's, that he's the next one that Trump wants them to charge, and could be charged as early as next week. And what I'm saying is, again, there's like, or like, I don't think I've agreed with him on it, just about
No,
anything.
never.
But it's clear they would, such an indictment would be for one reason and one reason only. He's been speaking out against Trump and the authoritarian grab that Trump is going after, and become a big enemy of Trump. Both he and Comey, were part of the Trump getting there, and now they're in a lot of ways. Who's comes after that? Like you said, everybody is susceptible now to being picked up, to be indicted.
Yeah.
And even if the cases are thrown out, the legal bills and the cost to reputation, et cetera, they don't all out. This is all out grab for authority to take absolute power, and by the way, to silence anybody who might speak out. And that's why I think the Kimmel coming back in the way he has spoken each night, unafraid, that's where the American people need to be now. Where every time a Comey stands up to this guy and says, let's have a trial.
Yeah.
We need to stand with those people and be visible in our support.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. There's a quickening, and I think all of
this is a lot better, because Alex usually kind of fights with me and stuff, but this is your agreement. I like this.
Yeah, I'll be your yes man. Here we go. Well, let's get to the next question.
Yeah, sure.
And it is, I think, all of these questions are sort of part and parcel of the same story. Are Republicans really ready to shut down the government because they don't want to release the Epstein files? So what is this shutdown about?
Well, I mean, the fact is they've never been able to keep. They have the presidency, they have the Senate, they have the House, and they've never been able to deliver the votes for continuing their budget. I mean, whether it's some Republicans who don't think we should cut Medicaid because their constituents in those battleground districts, or don't want rural hospitals shut down because of their spending the cuts for the tax cuts for the rich and cuts for everybody everybody else, putting it on the working class and the poor. SNAP, school lunches for children, ending health care or really pricing healthcare out of the reach of millions of Americans. So they have a problem. They haven't been able to get there, even though they have it all. They can't. So look, they don't have the votes on their own. Why the hell should Democrats vote to let them do this? And of course, the other side of this is they'll say that Democrats are shutting it down. Well, we can't keep. Look, part of the whole argument for why Democrats shouldn't do this is there's a fear that Donald Trump, if you shut down the government, that they will then basically fire all the people who are, and make it a permanent thing. It's not that. It basically use it to really destroy and wreck the government. Something they've already done.
They're already doing.
Yeah, they're already doing this. So
and that's the third question as well. Like, and you're getting to that point already. What do the Dems do? How do we deal with this?
Oh, I don't think we should do any. I mean, I think we should stand firm. We will not vote for the cut to continue this government that is cutting healthcare, Medicaid, that we, basically taxing the American people through tariffs. I mean, Trump keeps bragging, right? We've raised $350 billion or whatever in tariffs. Like, okay, Yeah, it's the American people who are paying it's a tax on the people that are buying those products, because the tariffs are not going to be paid by the foreign countries. They're paid by us or the company that brings them in. So my point is, why we can't keep voting to enable that. And by the way, we've said, the leadership said, we'll meet with Trump. They had some
Yep.
significant things they wanted to put in there, or at least come to terms with. And of course, Trump said, no, I'm not meeting with you. Well, the day he did that, it's his. It's always been his. I mean, let's face it, the Senate and the House Republicans are going to do exactly what Donald Trump wants. And that's to shut down the government so he can fire people permanently.
Or attempt to.
Yeah, or attempt to. Right. It's the Democrats that then, and the American people. That's the one thing I fault. I would say I wrote a piece, I think, or maybe I just did it in my head.
It's hard to keep
Where
track.
a while back, where I said that this moment would come, and that what Democrats should do is not wait to vote against it, but rally the American people in a protest against this budget for the day, around the day of the vote. So it's too far gone now. I mean, when I wrote that was a month ago or so.
Yep.
And I really wanted to say that, no, we have to say, we do not stand for this. We will not vote for this. We don't want our representatives to vote for it. And you must come to the table and negotiate for the work for people, not for Donald Trump. And if the Republicans don't come to the table to negotiate for the people instead of Donald Trump, then it's all on them. And I still think that's the case. That's the case I would make as Democrats. We don't agree with this, with what's in there, the spending priorities, how you've got this thing set. And you either negotiate with us on behalf of the American people, or you stand with Donald Trump and the tariffs and the healthcare and the Medicaid cuts and all that, because we won't go along. You should be negotiating with us on behalf of the American people. Both sides, Republicans, Democrats, negotiating on behalf of the American people, not Republicans standing with Trump and not talk and his, no, I won't meet with you. And we're just going to do it my way or the highway. And by the way, we're indicting Comey and any of my enemies, and we're picking you off the street with no probable cause, with no process. Yeah, none. Yeah.
I think the Dems have gotten, and I think you made this point a while ago, and it really stuck with me. But the Dems have been caught flat-footed on so many issues because they say this is we're in an authoritarian system, and this budget bill is the end of us, and then they vote for it. If it's if we're in such a catastrophe, then you better fucking act like it, and just
I mean, the shutting it down will create a lot of pain. There will be a lot of problems. So I'm not sugarcoating that.
I don't envy their position.
Yeah, but I just think there will be a tremendous pressure on Trump and the administration to get something done. I mean, even the Republicans in their districts. And I think, all this is about, we're now in a world where it's getting people's attention, getting people to focus that there's something going on here matters. And if it takes a government shutdown to do that, and let's have it all out. Let's have the big fight. Absolutely. About what that government shutdown is about and why, and let the chips fall where they may. And the American people want to go along with this authoritarian crap, then maybe that's the country we're in. But I don't think so.
No, and I think if a bill is immoral or amoral or catastrophic, then you have a moral responsibility to not vote for it.
Yeah,
right. And it doesn't matter the consequences of that. You can't vote for something just because the Republicans are going to vote for it anyway.
Yeah. And well, that's the other thing. The one thing we've learned is when we go, okay, so we passed, it doesn't matter. they've taken the money that we was passed to do something else and put it, and Doge has gone in and dismantled entire departments, or sent the Secretary of Education in to destroy that department.
Yep.
They're doing this regardless of what money the Congress appropriates, which is unconstitutional, but they keep doing it, and the court kicks the can down the road, and there'll be appeals and everything else. No, it's time to. I think now you can't do what Schumer did months and months ago, and look at what we got. That one may have been. I mean, I know Schumer took a lot of crap for caving. That one, I get. He's an institutional guy who still thinks like we can make a deal.
Yep.
Well, guess what? Learn the lesson. It's not going to happen. So don't do it again.
No. And not only is it not going to happen, it's going to get worse every time. There's no back and forth with this.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the big lesson. There's I have one more question, and then one question I have for you. But this 218 signatures on the Epstein files petition, it looks like they've got it.
Yep.
And to be fair, I haven't followed this story. I mean, I followed the Epstein file story, but I haven't looked at the math yet. So what happens next?
Well, no, it's basically simple. It's called a discard. God, now I'm having the brain fart. It's a petition. God, it's a discard petition or something like that. I can't remember. I'm sorry, but what it does, a discharge petition.
Yeah, right.
That's what it is. Discharge petition. You need, which basically the leadership, the speaker decides what comes to the floor and what doesn't come to the floor. Mm-hmm. There is an end around the speaker. It's called a discharge petition. It takes a majority of the House members signing a discharge petition to bring a bill to the floor that the leadership has not brought to the floor. Yeah, won't let it happen. You need 218. There was a special election victory.
Yep.
That gets to 218 signers. That discharge petition, I believe, Jamie Raskin and others have said, will be turned in. Mm-hmm. And when it is, that means that Speaker Johnson must bring the Epstein file vote to release them to the floor. You would suspect that if 218 people have signed that discharge petition to bring it to the floor, those are 218 people who intend to or are likely to vote for it. That would be a majority, which would mean the Congress will have passed a law to release the Epstein files. That then, of course, means it will go to the Senate.
Right.
I believe. And so but at each step, it's what are you covering up? Okay, we now have 218 members of the House, bipartisan, release the files. It's a petition. Why is Johnson not just bringing that vote without that petition? But he isn't. Then you go over to the Senate side. I think similar things will happen over there if the Senate's required, which I think it is. And then, of course, I guess maybe the real question is, does Trump have to sign that or not? I mean, it's going to be at each step, though. It raises the fire of why not? What is going on? Why the cover up after 218 members of the House of Representatives, which has a Republican majority,
right?
And Massey and a lot of Republicans have signed on to this thing. Why are we having to go through discharge petitions to get it to actually just have a debate and a vote? And of course, the vote could go the other way, but let's debate it. Let's talk about it. Let's air it out, and then let's have a vote. And if Congress votes not to release those files, at least the American people were part of seeing that debate and participating, and actually could pressure, call their members and things like that. Right now, because Johnson hasn't been willing to bring it up, the discharge petition is now what's necessary, and I think the votes are there. So I think we'll see shortly the next step, which I think will be taking it to the floor.
And for what it's worth, I mean, there's, we have Comey, we have Kimmel, we have Charlie Kirk, we have all these stories that are sort of burying that Epstein, and at least at bare minimum, this brings Epstein back into the news cycle.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, though. Trump will do everything. Now that we have the petition, enough signatures, he may actually want the government shut down.
Yeah.
And for that to drown out whatever's happening around the discharge petition and Epstein and any vote. I mean, obviously that would become more important a vote than bringing to the floor the Epstein files in terms of creating taking the attention off Epstein and moving it to a government shutdown may be something that Donald Trump really wants.
I mean, I've been saying this for a couple of months, but Trump is a master distractor.
Yeah.
But the distractions are becoming more and more consequential, right? They're more and more catastrophic.
And they're piling up because part of I keep putting this in the frame of alligator Alcatraz, but when you have 31% of Republicans saying they don't think ICE picking up people and shaving their heads and shipping them to El Salvador with no due process, they don't think that's mean enough or tough enough, that ICE isn't being strong enough in deporting these people. When you have 31% of Republicans who believe that, and that's the core base of MAGA, it explains why alligator Alcatraz happens, because it's that, and if they escape, alligators are going to eat them. Who do they that was meant to feed that 31% that they don't think this is all of this. Indicting Comey, all of it, not enough retribution, not enough revenge. And the more he tries to feed that core base, the more independents and yes, some Republicans are starting to go, whoa, wait a minute. This is all many bridges too far. Yeah. And so he now, and that's why Epstein's a threat, all of it. And I think you're right. The more desperate, the more he tries to speed these attacks up to in a race to get there before enough Americans stand up. And it's not enough we can't wait till November 2026. I mean, that's got to be a massive wave, and we have to build it now in the streets peacefully. The discharge petitions, I mean, everything, just all of it going straight at this and working against it loudly and peacefully now.
All of that. I was walking my dog down the street today, and I thought, why the fuck aren't we sitting here in these streets right now? I know, because I had to come talk to you for the show, but in any case,
I think we got No Kings coming up on October 18th.
Yes,
no King. That's a very important day for people to show up. If you went last time and you brought 2 friends, go this time and bring 4 friends. I mean, it's really important to get. And I keep saying this over and over again on every one of these things I'm on. Find one more friend, one more coworker, one family member, get them engaged, get them to understand now is the moment, understand what the threat is, and understand that they're not the only ones worried about this. There's millions of us. Yep. And if we stand together visibly, it will crush this authoritarian grab. It will, because the courts, the Republican members in these districts that don't want their careers to end will start to be more worried about us than they are about Donald Trump.
That's a really great place to wrap. And I want to say to everyone in the chat, I've been keeping an eye on the chat, and everyone's worried. Sass Writer says, Sam, agree, we should be in the streets now. I want you guys in the audience to, when you protest, be peaceful, but I would love for you to send pictures of what you're experiencing. I want to see it in you can drop it in the Lincoln Square chat. You can always email me pics. I'd love to run them on some of these live shows that we do. I think it's important that as we build this Lincoln Square community, that it feels like a community, that we're sharing our efforts, we're sharing our intentions, and we're sharing what we see with each other, because this is the community that is going to defeat Trump.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Joe, I really appreciate you. We have next week, we'll be talking about Hegseth and all the generals in Washington.
Yeah, we didn't get to that. Yeah.
We'll be talking about the shutdown. We'll be talking about the Epstein files again. And then also the X, Y, and Z that haven't happened yet that will blow all of our minds.
Yeah, and Alex might actually be back, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. Well, I appreciate you humoring me today, Joe.
No, thanks, Sam.
Thanks, bud.
Really
Thanks everyone for watching. See you next time.